Mike Bohn here on Fight Island in Abu Dhabi with Michael Chandler. And Mike, the weight cut is done, the face-off is done, and after this interview, the talking will be done, man. How does it feel?
It feels good, man. It's all a process. It's all part of the process. Something I've done a lot in my career, just not at this magnitude. The weight came off great. Obviously, the setup here on Yas Island is awesome. They roll out the red carpet for you, and it's been a great experience. That first trip to Abu Dhabi really kind of served me well for this trip. I know all the staff now, familiar faces, put names with faces, and it's been a great week.
Yeah, and you did get a little bit of a curveball to start the week, right? Like in terms of the longer quarantine and the delayed flight and everything. Did any of that mess with you mentally a little bit, or was it just something you took in stride?
It's definitely something that could have very well started the week off not so great, but as a guy who's competed at a high level for 2 decades now, you got to be able to roll with the punches, literally and figuratively, right? So getting here a little bit late definitely kind of messed it up. We actually got out of quarantine at like 4 or 4:30 on whatever day it was, and I had to go straight to media. I did media till like 9 p.m. So gutted through it, got through it. So it's all good.
Can you just compare this experience a little bit? I mean, you fought with Bellator, like big arenas, smaller venues with smaller crowds and stuff. Like, what is this like in your mind? Is it something that you're just really enjoying? Is it just completely unique? How would you describe it?
It's definitely something I'm enjoying. I love media obligations. Every single time there's a microphone near me, I truly believe it's with a purpose. I truly believe that God has had me in the palm of His hand since the day that I started fighting, and I relish in these opportunities. I relish in the opportunity to show the UFC staff that I'm an easy guy to work with, a guy who a guy who is willing to go above and beyond, because truthfully this is my platform, and eventually the microphones will go away. Eventually the calls will stop. Eventually you won't be getting the media request, and that to me is just kind of a call to action for a lot of professional athletes, fighters, us who get this great opportunity. So it's been a lot. The UFC is a machine, and I have been in some big events before, and this is by far the biggest, 10 times bigger than anything I've ever been a part of. And it hasn't quite sunk in, and I hope it doesn't ever quite sink in how big this thing is, because I want to focus on the task at hand, getting out there inside that octagon and getting my hand raised.
Sure. And speaking of Bellator, did you see the tribute video they made for you in terms of coming into this UFC debut that they posted the other day? And if so, what did you think of it? I
did, the Born and Bred or one. Yeah, I saw it. I didn't watch it all the way through, but I know it's a lot of my career highlights and that kind of stuff, which is great. You got to call a spade a spade. I am with the UFC now. I am a UFC fighter, but people know where I started. People know that I cut my teeth, won multiple world titles in Bellator. Even today, John Anik at the weigh-ins said former Bellator lightweight champion at the weigh-ins. It's nice. A little hat tip to me and what I've accomplished, but also that these organizations can work to not necessarily work together, but not be complete enemies. So it's great. Everybody knows where I started. Everybody knows where I've gone now, and on Saturday night, everybody's going to know where I stand.
And just a couple more things. Let's go back to the press conference. What were your biggest takeaways from that? How did you feel out there sitting next to Conor McGregor, who I know you said you were looking forward to sizing up a little bit and being next to? What was just your thoughts on the press conference and everything that unfolded? It was a very classy scene up there.
It was a very classy scene. It was definitely it's a new. I think it's a new phase that Conor is in now. Obviously, Dan Hooker's always respectful. Myself and Dustin Poirier are as well. But Conor loves to talk. He loves to kind of spit venom, or at least in the past. And I think it's great to see. I think it's great to see the evolution of young hungry guy coming in, spitting fire, and then having some kids and settling into that role in life.
So you get up there at the ceremonial weigh-in and you get face off with Dan. Is there anything you read too much into those, or is that kind of just standard procedure?
Pretty standard procedure. That's kind of your opportunity to kind of come face to face with them in front of a crowd. Obviously, I just said, let's have some fun out there, man. Listen, Dan Hooker is a consummate professional. Dan Hooker is a fighter's fighter. You're going to be hard-pressed to find anybody around this organization, fighter or non-fighter, who doesn't have a ton of respect for who Dan Hooker is, man. He's a great guy to draw on my first fight. You know, it's a tough fight. It's a tough out. He's got a lot of great physical attributes. We'll know Saturday night where I stack up in this lightweight division. And you know, I've seen those weigh-ins numerous times, the ceremonial weigh-ins. But so to be actually a part of one in the flesh was somewhat surreal, and it'll probably be the same exact thing when I start walking to that octagon on Saturday night. So standard procedure. Bigger implications, bigger stage, extremely pumped.
And last but not least, we just saw Bruce Buffer walk by here. You said hello. What's it going to be like when you get in that octagon? He reads your name, which I'm sure is something you've been thinking about for a long time. And what's going to come after that? What are the fans going to see?
It is something I've been thinking about for a long time. Listen, you know, I fought outside the UFC for a really long time, but there was always an inkling in me, you know, what if I was fighting him? What if I was fighting there? And now all those questions get answered, right, on Saturday night. And if you don't know, you will know Saturday night that I'm never in a boring fight. I've had 26 fights, win, lose, or draw. I'm not undefeated, but every single time I come to bring a great performance. I come to keep it high-paced, nasty, and looking for the finish at all times. So you'll, if you didn't know before, you will know on Saturday night on possibly the biggest stage I could have ever asked for. And I'm going to bite down on that mouthpiece. I'm going to come forward, and me and Dan Hooker are going to get into a technical, physical altercation. And I'm going to go get my hand raised and stake my claim as one of the best guys in this division.
Real excited for it, Mike. Best of luck. Thank you for the time.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Mike.